Hits by the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Coast, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the sun blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura. Before we get into tonight's episode, I want to send my condolences to my friend, great friend, my brother, my mentor, Jose, quote-unquote, Magdaleno, who we lost just 2 days ago. My condolences to his family, to the car clubs, the car club he belonged to, and extended car clubs and stuff that he brought so much light to, you'll be missed, buddy. You'll be missed. I don't want to get into it on this episode, but we'll continue. Anyhow, folks, he'd want me to continue to push on, and we're going to do just that. So, without further ado, due to the way I'm feeling about stuff right now, that's been happening, this podcast took a different turn. Tonight's episodes took a different turn from what I originally had planned for tonight's episode. But nonetheless, we're going to give you the best that we got, and we will continue to keep doing it as we exit from 2022 into 2023. So, tonight's episode is about these rapper movies. I've seen on different podcasts, people always, they get asked to rate their favorite rappers, their favorite movies, their favorite albums, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to try to break them down pretty quick and tell you how I feel about them, and then I'm going to get into my favorite one and why. Okay? And this is just simply my opinion. It's not, your opinion might be different. Hey, so be it, With that being said, it's respected, but let's continue. Okay, so the first film would be 8 Mile, the Eminem movie. What I thought about it, well, being that it was one of the first ones, my first impression was, it's going to be about his life and how he blew up and yada, yada. I went to go see it. I went to the movies. And, at the time, I didn't think nothing funny about it. But, later on, I heard some people, hey, it was pretty funny that people were tripping out because you went and you took your mom. Now, before we get into that, there's nothing funny about that. But, however, I had my mom in a wheelchair. Not that she couldn't walk, but she was just, elderly. So, just to move around a little bit faster, I would take her in the wheelchair. And plus, we got first dibs to get in first. Anyhow, into the theater anyways. But yeah, I took her to go see it, and it was awesome. I thought it was great. Like I said, at first I thought it was about him, his actual story. It was loosely based on his life, I would say. Is there great rap battles, infidelity with his girlfriend, betrayal, stuff of that nature. Of course, that's what the film had, and I thought that was an awesome job. I mean, it kind of stepped outside the circle. He had his own little crew. He had the guy that was probably not as, I don't want to say bright, probably not as down for it, like, or Cheddar Bob, need I say less. One thing I did find funny, funny about that movie was Anthony Mackie, who comes out in the movie. He plays the opposing crew against Eminem. In the rap battles, Eminem says, calls him Tupac, 1Pac, 2Pac, 3Pac, whatever, right? When it comes to Anthony Mackie, he's Tupac none. But yet, later on, a few, like 2 movies later, Anthony Mackie plays Tupac in the Notorious film. Also, the late and beautiful Brittany Murphy comes out as Eminem's girlfriend in that film. And to break it down really quick, I mean, not to get all into it, guys, like, in extreme detail, it's pretty much the regular John Doe story of an unknown rapper who the biggest thing for him is to win the rap battle within local rappers, which is pretty much more realistic to a whole lot of other people that are not in the mainstream, right? So, with that, I mean, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good movie. I thought so. I mean, it's not bad, I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so we're gonna cut. Excuse me. From there. So yeah, again, 8 Mile, good movie. Okay, on to the next one. Get Rich or Die Trying. Again, loosely based on the rapper 50 Cent, right? It's basically his story of his, like, really loosely based. It's not based on a true story. It's just loosely based. I would say, again, it was a good movie. I mean, tries to show heart. You kind of get into it at the time. I mean, you see it at the time, and yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, again, you got the, the villains and the good guys, bad guys, and betrayal, and to why they're after them, because they're trying to get back, and 50 Cent, has a child and gets shot, and so on and so forth. So again, I mean, it's, again, thought it was a good movie, man. I mean, these movies came out at a time when it was kind of like the new thing. Back when the DVDs came with the CD, you got to see you got a little more, you got more visuals. YouTube wasn't as, I don't even think YouTube was around for that matter, but that was the only way you could really see more actual behind the scenes stuff, with Get Rich or Die Trying being the first CD, if I recall correctly, to come with the bonus DVD in it. That kind of started that started a trend into that. So seeing the movie like 8 Mile, seeing Get Rich or Die Trying, that was yeah, man. I mean, yeah, why not? It was good. So again, 8 Mile, good movie. Get Rich or Die Trying, good movie. The next one that followed up to that, started it off with, again, 8 Mile, Get Rich or Die Trying, and went into, then came Hustle and Flow. Now, Hustle and Flow was a low-budget film, or underground film, if you will. Starred Terrence Howard, and what's the name? Anthony Anderson. The people from the show Empire. I forget the names, but anyhow, guys, that movie. Oh, and then well, of course, 3 6 Mafia did the music to that. That was a whole other, that was a fictional character as well, but loosely based on just really, it wasn't loosely based on anybody. It was a straight fictional character. DJ, he played the name DJ on there. And the story on that film was more of the, a little bit more like 8 Mile, I guess you could say. More local, if anything. Instead of just kind of like, hey, blowing up kind of deal, or, or a real known established rapper in that film. The subject matter, yeah, it talked about pimps. And mind you, it talked about, prostitution and stuff like that. But it didn't shy away from it. But it showed a guy trying to get out of that life and trying to get into the music stuff, into the music scene. Kind of more of the, again, underground kind of feel to it. So, what I thought of that film, yeah, again, thumbs up for me, man. I thought it was a good film. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so then we have 8 Mile. We have Get Rich or Die Trying, and Hustle and Flow. Thumbs up on all those films, in my opinion. Okay, and what followed was the big one, no pun intended, Notorious, based on the life of Notorious B.I.G., also known as Christopher Wallace, excuse me, also known as Christopher Wallace, known as Biggie Smalls, and or known as Frank White in the rap world, rapper out of New York, who unfortunately was murdered in March of 1997 in Los Angeles, California. Okay, now that film, again, like I said earlier, stars Anthony Mackie and oh God, guys, I forget the name of the actors, but anyhow, I think they did a very good job. Really, I mean, I really think they really nailed it. Like, I sat in there and I saw these movies in the theater. I really thought they nailed it. Like, I really sat there and, they not only looked, they sounded, the mannerism, the sound, the voice, not just in the music, but in the, as the character themselves, they really played that role right. I mean, I thought it was good, man. I really thought it was good. I mean, some of the stuff seemed a little bit biased in that film. It seemed a little bit taking jabs at the record label they were beefing with or whatever. little small little jabs here and there, but nonetheless a great film, I thought. No, I could it have been better? You know what? Anything could always be better. But sometimes it's like a drawing, once you got it down and it's pretty good, don't try to do too much. You might end up messing it up, and so I think that was a good movie. I enjoyed it. So yeah, Notorious. Thumbs up for me too. That one gets another thumbs up. And what's to follow? Of course, the West Coast. NWA. Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, DJ Yella, and MC Ren. Straight out of Compton. Need I say more? I mean, that movie was really handed to us on a silver platter. I thought it was, it's impeccable if it comes to films. When it comes to films, about that stuff. I mean, was a lot cut out. Do I see other artists understand? Well, they cut us out. There was more to it. It's Hollywood, folks. Due to excuse me, due to time and to all the they don't want to give you a whole 3.5 hour film and kind of drag it on. Get to the meat and get to the meat and potatoes. Need I say less? Excellent film. You had Ice Cube being played by his son. Eazy-E looked the part. Dr. Dre, MC Ren, DJ Yella. Then I think MC Ren and Yella could have got bigger parts. Yeah, I think so. I think it was a little bit more, should have been a little bit more focused on them as well. But nonetheless, a good film. And being, guys, and being a being a fan of the music, mentally I filled in the blanks. So I was able to put it together pretty quick. Like when it, whenever stuff was happening in the film, I knew, okay, this is right after, such and such, and all the artists that they didn't tell you about in the film. If you follow the story, if you know the story, if you've bought the CDs, tapes, you fill in the blanks automatically. So without further ado, Straight Outta Compton, of course, thumbs up. And now it leads us into the final film, so far up to date. The infamous Tupac Shakur, the late, great Tupac Shakur. The film All Eyes on Me, that told the story of Tupac from his mom, being a Black Panther, him being in the Bay Area, or being born in New York, moving to the Bay Area, all the way going to LA, going to prison, going to New York, and getting shot at Quad Studios. You know the story. We all know the story, of Tupac Shakur. With that also, there was a lot of complaints about that film. That film got a lot of slack for, being that it was cut to, editing was just, a lot of it was cut off too much, and that it, it didn't really display, the Tupac that, we wanted to see. I've heard as far as even it was made into it was basically like a Lifetime TV movie. And you know what, guys? Okay, I'm not going to knock it and say, oh, no, yeah, no, you're wrong. You're right. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right to that extent. However, here's my thing. You want my opinion if I liked it? I'll tell you like this. I thought it was great. I actually enjoyed it, to be honest with you. I really liked it. I thought it said everything in there. I mean, they didn't show you everything, but in little words, they explain it to you, and you build the timeline. When certain situations happen, oh, okay, this is after this is after that. At least that's how I saw it. In my mind, that's how it played out. I was looking at it like, wow, like I really enjoyed it. They brought up certain. You have to really pay attention, and you'll understand. Um, but I get it. I mean, being that out of all the rappers that we've talked about, Tupac is probably the most prolific out of the bunch. That every day was basically you could make a movie out of him. You know that of what he had. Um, it's just too much to compress in a 2.5, 3 hour film. Um, Now, did I think the movie was great? Yeah, I really did. I really do think it's great. I mean, I thought because it does cut away pretty fast. It goes pretty quick. But it slows down when he gets to Death Row Records, which hence, guys, the name of the film, All Eyes on Me, which is the album that he did and was released while he was still alive on Death Row. It slows down there a little bit, and the film kind of takes a little bit of a slower pace, of a little bit of a slower burn into what's going on. So do I think like, yeah, it could have been better? Yeah, I mean, yeah, but then again, I mean, guys, again, it's like a drawing. But then on Tupac, with the exception of All Eyes on Me, um, just to kind of drag it out from being born in New York and then being in the Bay Area, just dragging on to all that, and then finally for him getting to, while being with Digital Underground, going on and so on and so forth, onto Death Row Records, it'd be way too long. You can make a movie just based on New York, California, Northern California, Digital Underground era, and then so on and so forth. So, again, being that the name of the movie is All Eyes on Me, I think it did an excellent job in kind of giving you a glimpse of everything. Hey, come on. You already know the story. You put it all together yourself. And it gets to Death Row. All Eyes on Me. I just thought, and you know what, in all fairness, and very unbiased about it, I enjoyed it even before I got to chat with L.T. Hutton, the producer of that film. And I told him the same thing. I said, you know what, dude, I don't know what everybody's complaining about. I think it's all there. You guys did a great job at, doing this and that, how you did this and how you did that. He goes, yeah, bro. He goes, a lot of people don't understand where we're going with it and the budget that had to work with it, Now, when it comes to the actors playing those roles in All Eyes on Me, I mean, did Demetrius Shipp Jr. playing Tupac? I mean, to me, there was an interview with Idi Amin. He said, look, guys, you're not going to get the real Tupac. But this is the closest you're going to get. His mannerisms and so on and so forth. The performance on the House of Blues scene in that movie, impeccable to me. Did he look like Tupac? Yeah, I think so. Come on, let's be honest. Not dead on. Like, oh my God, I wouldn't have mistaken him. No. But did he look like him? Yes, he did. Yes, he did, man. He did a good job. I think he did an excellent job. Now, here's where we might get into a little bit of a situation here with a lot of people might hate me for this, but I'm going to be honest about it. I think the character of Suge Knight, I think on All Eyes on Me, the actor was a much better Suge Knight than the one in Straight Outta Compton. In Straight Outta Compton, it seemed like he got pushed a little bit. It was kind of like, it was a little bit, kind of pushed it a little bit further, kind of like, personally, me, myself, I was not as convinced, I mean, I was, but I wasn't, it's kind of like, okay, it's cool, However, on All Eyes on Me, the Suge Knight character was a lot more subtle, a lot more in the way he looked, the way he entered the room, the way he carried himself, the way he walked around without having to say too much. Just his vibe, his energy on the screen, I think nailed it. But and to round it all off, guys, I think and I'm not defending the film for that matter. This is just my opinion. Thumbs up for All Eyes on Me. So moving forward, my favorite one of all the films, I'd have to go with look, Straight Outta Compton. It's a given. I mean, come on, that's a given, man. That's a great film. There's no question about it. Notorious, just as well as based on the life of Biggie Smalls. All Eyes on Me. Hey, love it or hate it, it is what it is. They are what they are. 8 Mile. Hey, people like that. A lot of people love that movie. I do as well. But for me, my favorite film of all of those that I just mentioned would have to be Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow, man. I mean, Hustle and Flow, to me, was the most realistic film when it comes to that life of trying to make it. Now, granted, I'm not saying I'm a pimp. I'm not saying that I'm over here doing this and that. However, the struggle is, like they say, the struggle is real. Some of us have different struggles. Some of us go through different stuff. Different things in life. Unfortunately for the character of JD, Terrence Howard in the film, he's a pimp. He's trying to get out of that lifestyle. He's trying to get into the whole thing of into the music. And it's just well written. To me, it was well written. It deals with the reality, man. I mean, I thought it was super real as far as when you're recording, because I went through that as well. When I went through friends that recorded on a Tascam recorder, recording in the garage, in the living room, or whatever. Somebody outside making noise. He goes out to the neighbors, like, hey, can you shut it down? The whole underground thing. You're in somebody's house, somebody's garage. You're sitting there. You're trying to make something happen, trying to do something, working on something. So people start coming around, hanging out. One person starts rapping, singing, or whatever. You're like, oh, dude, you can sing? Like, oh, wow, hey, man, hey, you know what, let's pull up this track, let's do that. It was just, to me, it was just real. It was that real. Again, the struggle, the ambition of him wanting to show Skinny Black, a.k.a. Ludacris, of course, show him the tape. Ludacris not giving a darn about him. Unfortunately, that happens, guys. That does happen. I've had it happen, and when you're trying to hey, man, like, hey, check this out, and they're like, whatever, kind of, it stings a little bit, but it showed that realness of, how somebody could make it and forget where they came from, you know. And here's somebody else trying to do it, and instead of inspiring him and saying, hey, you know what, check it out, man, why don't you do that, or lending out a hand, it's kind of like, screw you, you ain't good enough, or man, you suck, or whatever the situation is, guys. You know, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie Hustle and Flow, I'm about to spoil it. So, the thing that I loved about that movie was, again, it's just so real to me. Everything. His ambition, how the people around him started to embrace it, how it caused problems with Anthony Anderson's wife. Was like, oh, you know, why are you doing this for this guy? You know, but he believed in DJ. You know, he believed in DJ. The you know, everybody in the house start, you know, they start supporting him. They're like, hey, yeah, you know, this is good, and it became a small team, man. Just a team of people trying to make it happen out of a house, you know. And him telling DJ telling the character of Anthony Mackie of Anthony Anderson, you know, the character of DJ saying, you know what, I knew Skinny Black, man, I know him, and yada yada yada. It propelled Anthony Anderson's character to produce even harder to get this stuff going. You know, he really wanted it because he believed them. They're like, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna make it. He's gonna show it to him, and yada yada yada, and you know, so he really propelled it, lit a fire under him to get it done. You know, one of the most beautiful scenes to me in that film was at the end when DJ's in jail, and Anthony Anderson asked DJ Terrence Howard. He asked the character of DJ, "Did you really know Skinny Black?" And DJ kind of looks, you know, he kind of gives him that look. He avoids the question, but he tells him that, you know, he has a daughter that's from a, you know, lady of the night and a pimp for a dad, and that she's going to ask him one day if she could be the president of the United States. And DJ tells him, I'm going to look her in the eye and I'm going to lie to her. And the body language of Anthony Anderson, he just kind of breaks, like, damn. He realized that he lied to him. But because if he had not lied to him about knowing Skinny Black and about thinking that they're going to blow up, he probably wouldn't have did that for him. In reality, guys, I mean, that's really this was my taking on the film. He probably wouldn't have did anything, you know? So I thought that was just beautifully executed in that film. Yet he still happens to blow up, and it kind of brings you back, because if you think about it, like, you know, Skinny Black didn't want to listen to him, even though they were from the same, you know, town or whatever it was. At the end, when the CEOs were like, "Hey man, we rap too," and he's like looking at them, like smiling, like, "Yeah, you know, it's cool." Like, you know, he had a song on the radio. It was a happy ending. I just think that movie was great. I mean, does it degrade women? Yeah, it does. Does it have a lot of stuff that's kind of cringeworthy to a lot of people? Yes, it does. But then, with that being said, guys, I come from an era where I'm not easily offended. I mean, let's be real about it. Things like that have happened and continue to happen. So it's not nothing that's, oh my God, you're going to point the finger at a movie when it's happening, a few blocks down the street from your house. It happens. It's realistic. It's what it is. It's not made up. It's what it is. Only this is made into a film. So yeah, guys, with that being said, that's how I proceed to look at this list of films. This is the reason why Hustle and Flow is a favorite of mine. And yeah, man, that's really it. Bottom line. Again, guys, if let me know in the comments below what your favorite film was and why, or what you thought of this opinion about my opinion on the best film of these 5 films or whatnot. And again, let's not forget my independent film, Street Connect, which is here on YouTube. You can see it, I'll put the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being so generous and watching it. Again, comment, like, subscribe. Help me get into the algorithm of things here on YouTube. I'm trying to really make it happen. If you're listening to me on Spotify, thank you as well for that. The next podcast, I'll leave it. 2 things are going to happen. If I take a break, it's going to be a break. If not, it's going to be a surprise. A great surprise. It'll be just something to give you. You know what I mean? And we'll go from there. Yeah, I might get into something here. I'll leave it at that. We'll continue. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, oh well, But yeah, guys, that's my podcast for tonight. Appreciate one another. Appreciate your friends. Hey, I know, life takes over. We kind of tend to drift different ways, and worry about what we got going on. But if you can, especially with the power of social media, with cell phones, mutual friends or whatnot, check up every now and then. Check up on each other every now and then. Say, hey, how you doing? Seeing how you're doing. It's helpful, man. It's really helpful. I think it's a great thing to do. That's one of the satisfactory things for me, is keeping in touch with people, those that have passed, and I've stayed in touch with them the last few years or whatnot. It's a great feeling. Unfortunately, I've lost a lot more friends than just my friend recently. 2 weeks ago, I lost another good friend of mine that I grew up with. And it just gets to be a little overwhelming, but God rest their soul. May they be in peace. However, moving forward, again, check out my independent documentary film, Street Connect. Let's end on a brighter note. The link and description is in the box below. I'll really appreciate it. Again, let me know what you think. I look forward to surprising you guys on the next one. If I'm able to, it's going to be great. And that's it for tonight, guys. This is Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. This is Fred Segura signing out.